Check, check. I don't even know what the audio finna sound like, but nothing too serious. Lightweight, 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 lightweight. Check. All right, nothing too serious. Lightweight, because I'm sitting here and I was killing myself. I was thinking about, how they be like snitches get stitches. I was like, man, nah. I got to thinking about, oh, my camera ain't even on and shit. There we go. They be like snitches get stitches. I was like, man, not really, because I used to tell my big brother all the time and shit. So I was like, I was killing myself just with my own little nostalgic moments and shit. So I was like, man, fuck it, I might as well share some of this. I mean, it ain't gonna stay on too long anyway. So anyway, snitches get stitches. I was like, no, they don't, because as a baby boy in the big family, I used to tell my big bro all the time, like that nigga used to get in trouble and shit. He used to get in trouble by everybody. I'm talking about back in the 90s. And so I can't tell you exactly what makes everything so freaking funny to me, but shit, some of this shit be funny as hell. So I was thinking about it, and in the 90s and shit, let's say like, even before the 90s, let's go like 1989 and shit. So I'm like, so you know how big families come together, like small families come together and become bigger families and shit. And you may start off with just like a nuclear family, but in our case, it was like my mom, my dad, I got two older brothers, and we moved in with Big Mama, which is my mom's mama, and then she lives there, we live there now, and it's a little bitty house. And in the backyard, there's the trailer, and like, so we got my uncles and cousins and aunties and everybody. I'm telling you, we like, and not just hood, but it was like, you could tell it used to be country, but it's still hood. And such a big family that my mom and then her sister, yeah, so that's the cousin who's raised like a brother, because that's the early 80s, and I'm too young to know the difference between family like that. You're like, boy, that's your cousin. I'm like, nah, that's my brother. But so raised like brother, but cousin, but because the family unit is so big, that's big bro. So y'all with me right now? Big bro, who's the big cousin, but big bro. Anyway, he used to get lit the fuck up. And it wasn't because I wasn't the bad one, but I used to do dumb shit as a kid. So early 90s and shit. Any 80s babies ought to be able to understand. I wish the Facebook or YouTube didn't hate on like when we include like music video and other people's stuff like that, because I'd have the nostalgia music, the backyard boogie, and I'd have the music background built in. But in any event, I'm going to talk about it because I used to get lit up. I used to live with Big Mama, and Big Mama didn't play that. And she was a heavy set woman, like 6'3" maybe. I feel like it. Like I was growing. But now Big Mama, big woman in the church, big hats, big everything, big black woman. And so she can hold him down. And this dude ended up like, his dad played football, NFL. So he ended up like 6 foot tall, 6'2" something, and like high school. And like, imagine that, like he like 6 foot tall in high school, and I'm just now getting ready to go like second and third grade. But that's at that time where like second and third grade for some people, depending on where you were raised or how you were raised, that's at some point you're gonna start challenging back against all the people who were the big people. So, and then I had protection with Big Mama. So yeah. So I felt like if I could get away with anything, Big Mama would have my back. But it wasn't always because I was the one that was, I can't act like I was innocent either, because at some point it's like you got to work your way up the ranks before you could just jump up to the dude who's 6'3". But grandma could take him though. And so I'm sitting there dying, like just thinking back at some of these memories, like what the hell made me want to challenge? I mean, his dad wasn't there. So, of course, and he's in high school. His dad wasn't there, but we know he played football for like the Raiders or something. And that was a rough team. So for him to have that genetic offspring, it seems like, yeah, and you're finna go to the second grade, my dude. I don't think you want that smoke. But at some point, as the little brother, it was bound to happen. And so at first it wasn't always just like the big brother who was like going to coddle you. Because at first, like when the person is tall and the other person is short, they like to do the thing when they put their hand on your head, but it's really just like a warning. Like, you don't really want this smoke. When you see this distance, back up, boom, got you from there, boom, got you from there. And not only did he play football, but his best friend was on the wrestling team. One played baseball. Like, they were basketball team. They did like all the sports, all American. And so it was him and the homies. And so what would somebody who's probably going to go to the second or third grade at this time want to do challenging that whole squad now? Because you can't just challenge him. If I challenge him in front of the homeboys, that's definitely like challenging them. And y'all may have been raised a little bit different. Y'all may have been raised in an environment where, like, you go outside or you deal with people outside, or, bullies, mean people, the mean kids. Yeah, we had Crips. And when I was thinking about it like that, I was like, yeah, it was a little bit different because you could just, you go outside, drink you some water, go back outside and play. If you're just dealing with a bully, they could teach you some ways to, you're dealing with a mean kid. No, we had Crips. We had a different set of circumstances. When it was go outside and do it again, some of those errors, you just couldn't make. It was just different. And so at some point, I guess me challenging my big bro was something that kind of inspired me to say, I'm willing to push back. I'm willing to push back. And that dude is, and he was like football All-American. Like, you check the yearbook, he's in all of them. Highly likely to have become a Pookie and a Ray Ray. Highly likely to have become a Pookie and a Ray Ray had it not been for actual people who were in the streets saying otherwise. Because if you really wasn't about that life, there were Pookie and Ray Rays in the hood who would put their hand right out on your forehead and let you know that you aren't built for this. You ain't big enough for this. But it was still within the household or the family's job to try to prepare even the runt of the litter to get out there and do it again, whatever it was that made your little cry. That's what happened. That's why I was crying, because I was literally crying. I was in there, I was like, you know how they say like the crybaby? And everybody got the crybaby in the family or whatnot? And you would have thought that the crybaby would stop crying at some point. Man, hell no, that nigga's still a fucking crybaby. And I was thinking about it like that. I was like, damn, what's wrong with YouTube right now? These niggas is crybabies. Tariq Nasheed, crybaby. Umar Johnson, crybaby. It was never okay for them to be the crybaby. So being a crybaby meant the two words that you can't call no man. Man, you acting like a punk right now. And so it's hard to get a grown man who's still a fucking crybaby to accept that the world accepts the punk more than they accept the grown man being a crybaby. Oh, not today, not Thursday. I might tee-hee my way through this shit, but this shit hurt. The reason why I had to challenge my big brother, it was bound to happen. We might as well get that shit on out the way. And other niggas may not have understood that, because for y'all could have went back outside and the bully would, okay, and you could do the little, and they would give you mercy. See, you had bullies, but I had Crips. And we are not the same. And it was still my brother's responsibility to make sure that I was ready to get back out there, because there was no just sitting in that house all day. Like COVID drove some of these niggas crazy sitting inside of their own house. Maybe that's a little bit of a projection, but that shit was killing me. The damn crybaby never stopped crying. Now we dealing with grown-ass men crybabies. I swear if you listen to the music and hip hop, just Google cry, the word cry, and see how many hip hop songs came out this year with cry in the title of them motherfuckers. These grown motherfuckers will not stop crying. And it's never been okay for men to cry. So therefore, what had to happen at an early age for me. That's before I even got to go to the second grade. I didn't even win the bike for being the good kid in the classroom yet. Because before I could be a good kid in the classroom, I had to walk through that neighborhood to school. And most of those blocks, most of those houses on that street in this very small knit community, the houses stacked right next to each other. If you can make it to the backyard, you might be all right. But to get to the backyard, you might have to make it through some people's booby traps, trying to run through their driveway and hop little gates and divots and stuff. Man, it was a different experience growing up when you were down the ride before you were age 9. I didn't know what it meant, but I knew that I was down the ride. I was down, hey, let me in the car, because inside that car meant cool. Outside that car meant unprotected. Inside that car meant meant popular. Outside that car meant victim. Inside the car with the family, it meant belonging. Outside the car with the family meant that I was on my own out there. And even though the people inside the house knew that I was the crybaby and the runt of the litter, I could not survive outside that car unless I knew when it was time to get down. It was bound to happen. It was going to happen one day. And I might as well go on and pick the biggest nigga in the family to do it. And my little bitch ass ran and told grandma anyway. But I think grandma already knew that it was going to happen because the brothers who were bigger than me, they tried him too. It didn't work for them. So was that supposed to deter me? Was that supposed to protect me from having to fight my own battle because it didn't work for my big bros? And they're bigger than me? Was that what was supposed to prevent me from getting my little 2-1-2 in my little quick one? I thought I threw them together, pow, like right, and it didn't do shit to that 6'3" dude. It ain't do nothing. In fact, even though I threw him, I didn't even hit him at all. Like I was in a war by myself with his hand on my forehead, but I had threw him with the best of me. I had threw him. They was crisp, they were tight, and if I had just so happened to have been fighting somebody my size, I may have gave him both of those ones. But because I was fighting somebody that was way out of my league, 6'3" big bro, who had already beat up my other big brothers, yeah, it didn't work out. See, now his dad wasn't there, and my dad had to work 2 jobs. We living with grandma, with my mom. There's a backyard full of black people inside of a trailer who are the aunties and uncles, and you don't think I was the crybaby? Hell yeah, I need to be protected. You can't go in your own backyard because that's grown folk business back there in that trailer. Oh, but I loved him though, because whenever Auntie did come out that trailer, and when she went in the kitchen, Auntie, man, she knew what everybody liked. And while my mom worked for the state, she wasn't able to like cook like for a big family. And Sunday we may have had like a big family dinner. When we made it to Sunday, and grandma made everybody eat together, and we had to sit there in that room and look at each other like we like each other and shit. And I'm still holding on to shit that happened from Tuesday, but we had to sit down anyway. Yeah, they don't want to hear that shit. Because inside of the family or inside of the car, yeah, we fight these battles to prepare each other for what's going to happen when you are on your own. When big brother is not there to protect you, will you stand your own ground, or will you just have to, hey, look, them tears dried up real quick, like, wait, what? What the hell just happened? Hey, grandma passed in 1996, so I didn't have the protection of a lifelong intergenerational shield from the traumas of the poverty in my neighborhood. And the military nigga granddad, who I slide his bitch ass right under that bus, nigga, where was he? I don't know. I met the nigga on his dying deathbed. So if you want me to have remorse, then sorry, slide his ass right up under there. You served your country well, but I didn't really have a conversation with him. Nothing memorable except his name that was passed down. So do better. Because my dad, I had a dad who was being the dad to my mom's sister's son, whose dad was in the NFL. So it would seem like that child should have been well taken care of. He got the genetic attributes and the brains of Big Mama and them. He's protective, and he damn sure could have been a Pookie and Ray Ray. He had foresight. And even though I didn't win that fight with Big Bro, I love my Big Bro. I call him right now. He come from Vegas right now. If I get out of line, he could come from Vegas right now. And if that big motherfucker put his hands on me, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to call my motherfucking mama. What's wrong with you niggas? I'm still going to tell that big ass nigga, fuck wrong with you? You thought the snitch was the bad guy? No. I'm going to tell her because she know how to make a big ass dude submit. It was something about it. And they passed it along. The women in my family must just have been raised different, because if I call my mama, I don't even really have to call my mama. He can put his hands on me. That's what's going to happen, and we going to resolve it. But when I call my mama, when she see him, he know he got a thing coming. So it's like, I know I got to get back, which means if I already know I got to get back, what the fuck am I afraid to, nigga? Hit him right in the chest. Right in the chest. I tell you, they be like, man, what's wrong with these little dudes? When you know you're protected, you walk a little different. There ain't no such thing as a big nigga I'm supposed to be afraid of. And even though I don't got my mama that I can just call to handle every big nigga, it was something about just knowing that if I take off on this nigga, I'm good. I'm good. So even though they may not have had that shit, understand what we was crying about. When a nigga was crying in the hood, it was because that big 6'3" nigga, when he took his hand off and stopped coddling a nigga, and when he balled his fist up like a man, and when he threw that shit back at his little bro, I had to take that same punch that I thought I could give him. I had to take it in my chest. Knocked all the wind out my lord. Nigga, bow, woo! It looked like a cartoon. You can see a little nigga fly so far. Y'all would have thought that shit was abusive. Y'all wouldn't have called that shit corrective. You know what I called that shit? I called that shit that bullshit, nigga. Like, hold on, nigga. You know I wasn't even ready. Like, for real. Other niggas would cry. That wasn't the thing that made the nigga cry. I would cry if the nigga didn't take me with him when he went to the football game. Fuck wrong with these niggas, man? If that nigga left me at home and auntie and uncle and them back there smoked out and we don't know what they finna burn the house down and shit. If my big bro didn't take me with me, didn't take me with him, then I'm walking around the neighborhood doing absolutely Lord knows what. And y'all got problems with mean people and bullies. I got Crips in my neighborhood. And in order to survive, some niggas had to be the blood in these streets and left it right there. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to share just a little bit because big bro is a big dude. Big mama used to grab him by the back of his knee, I swear to God. And this dude is 6'3" and he would fall over. I said, I don't know how to do it. And I never known, like you know what I'm saying? Like if you want to submit a pit bull or you want to submit an American bully, you want to submit a Rottweiler, when you put your hand around the Rottweiler's throat and you hold firm, not choking, but you hold firm, and they're on their all fours on their back like this, yeah, you can be a little nigga and deal with a big dog. But there was no such thing as not being the big dog for me. You could go bark and run back to where you know it's safe, wherever your dog bowl is. But we didn't have to have gates in that community for our dogs, nigga. Even the dogs knew who not to fuck with, and that's my big bro. And thus, B1 Brother Moses. I just wanted to share that. I ain't got no real purpose. There was two things that, you know. There was two things. I used to try to get away with it. Like, it's just a different era. I used to get mad and be like, bitch. And if that nigga would have, like, nothing in this world could have stopped that nigga if he would have assumed that I said that word bitch to him. Because you could not call a man a bitch in that day. And this dude in high school, but he wanted to teach me that the one thing that you don't want to be, you can't be no punk. And of course I can appreciate it at the time. The dude hands were built like bricks. He used to punch a little nigga in the chest, like I said, sit down. Because my dad got to work them 2 jobs. And if my dad got to hear about it, it's worse. Because my dad is like 5'7", like 5'6" or something. You know the little Napoleons when they were, and he doing security, he had a security belt that was bigger than Batman belt. It was bigger than Batman's security belt. It was like rawhide leather, and it used to carry one of them heavy flashlights on one side and the walkie-talkie. Like nothing fell off of that belt. My dad's belt. So you think I want, and he stuttered, one of them deacons? Boy, didn't I tell you, you don't got to hit me with every swing. See, big bro is just going to knock the wind out of, and you knock the wind out of somebody, yeah. Now they willing to listen because all they doing is, yeah, like that shit. That's all little bro could do if you knock the wind out of him. And that was preferable than if my dad had to find out that I got my ass whooped in them streets, cried my way home and didn't fight back. But it's a different era. And we have storytellers with real stories to tell, but we're going to have to clear the mess first. Woo! That security belt was better than Batman's. My dad's belt was thick. Like it was when they said spare the rod, spoil the child. Like, man, man, that belt would what? I mean, I tell you, when you get hit and no sound comes out, I don't know. Here's my intergenerational trauma story. I used to have that nightmare where like you're falling or something and you're trying to scream and you're just like, I swear to God, that's that belt where whack and you just and it take a moment. It's almost like you in a mountain somewhere where you needed the echo to let you know what just happened. That's how that belt. And he had the Napoleon complex worse than any of the dudes who actually made it to the NFL. If my dad had to hear about it, it was worse. I'd rather Big Bro just hit me in the chest and knock the wind out me one time so I can hear what I was doing. Because once you get in them streets and it's like, okay, Mo, what was you actually doing? And of course, I don't want to snitch on myself. I tell Big Mama on bro, that nigga hit me again. But I'm not going to snitch on myself. But what was I actually doing in the streets that had Big Bro? If it got to Big Bro, then I definitely was doing something wild in them streets. But that's just the mentality when you're 9 years old thinking that you're ready to ride. And if you're in the car, you're protected. If you're not inside the car, you're the most vulnerable. See, I don't deal with mean people. I had to deal with Crips. And I can hope this makes sense. Like there's little things in life lessons. Like if you get a bike and you don't get a bike lock, you must be the most respected person on that street, because I've heard stories where there are places where you can't leave your bike in your own yard. See, we weren't raised like that. We knew everybody. If somebody took your bike, that was to laugh at you. And if you needed a lock, then you're not respected at all. Because whether they took it from the school or from the store or from your yard, if somebody can take your bike and you see them riding around with your bike, they don't got to paint it. They finna add some pegs to it. So they don't got to strip it down and sell it. And you see another little kid riding your bike in your neighborhood. Who's supposed to do something about that? My 6'3" brother? Or the two brothers who my 6'3" brother had already put the hands on, and he told me that I should fight them before I fight him. I don't listen. My problems in the streets are way bigger than what these dudes did, and me seeing what they did, I feel like I already could have did that. And if that's all they got, then they ain't got nothing else to teach me, because if I fight them and win, then why did I even waste my time fighting somebody that was weaker than the dude or the size of my battle in the first place? What, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine you know, football, Pop Warner, youth sports, and you the kid that after school you had the socks, you had the wristbands, you had all of that. You was the star running back. You had like socks, wristbands, team mom involved. You had Gatorade. You had your Gatorade in the freezer the night before the game. And now you get up there and y'all team captains, y'all getting ready to shake hands, and you look and you like, man, I'm finna, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna go to like the second grade, but you like, I'm finna play against preschoolers or kindergartners. Man, line these dudes up. If it gives you confidence that you're in the 6th grade and now you're finna go up against a kindergartner, then there's something wrong with the kid at that point. Because I'm telling you, by the time I was going to the 2nd grade, I had already thought that it was cool to ride. And unfortunately, since I can't drive, I could only get a bike. But why would I get you a bike if your little punk ass can't protect it? How many times would you have to go and respond and fight your little brother's battles before you finally just said, look, little nigga, here's the 1-2 combo. Here's the uppercut roundhouse kick. And nigga, maybe you should just go on and run, nigga. Maybe a bike isn't for you, nigga, run. Nigga, maybe a bike isn't for you, nigga, run. And at some point, if the bike is stolen and they was like, nigga, I didn't have to take the bike. They took the bike to show you that they knew where you lived anyway. Where were you supposed to run to if this is your home, nigga? These niggas weird. And if they not willing to fight they own big brother in a protected space with big mama like, all right, now I ain't gonna let y'all go too far, then why would we trust them with our daughters when our daughters' lives are in their hands every time they get behind the wheel? They weren't raised right to make the good decisions and keep that car straight on the road with no distractions. In fact, they might think this high siding and leaning and switching lane shit is cool because they saw that gangster shit in a movie. Yeah. But them little bloods get behind them and shit. They can't protect that daughter in that passenger seat. I saw a story that shocked my heart, and I'm going to leave it right there. Because it's not always about that rapper that gets killed. And if they want to make it about the girl who, or the woman at this point, who pings the location and blame her, then what about the rapper's girl or woman? I saw the image. I didn't even know my damn self, but it still hurt a nigga heart. What happens when she gets bited and that nigga's like, oh, thank you for the condolences. I can't wait to get back in the studio, nigga. Bars on their ass. Like, what, nigga? What? Man, something wrong with these niggas. These niggas from a different generation. They're from a different generation, cut from a way different cloth. I still think they need to get in the ring with Big Bro. They ain't had their rounds yet with the 6'3" dude that they always been afraid of. The one who could have been a Pookie, just like a Pookie. But, yeah. He ain't got to be no Pookie. Hey, you know what my big bro did? And I didn't know it. But even when he was hitting me in my chest after balling up his hand like that, he turned it. Even when my big bro was hitting me in my chest like that and knocking all the po wind out my whole body, he was still holding his punches. And that shit got to, like, at some point, y'all don't understand it. Y'all might think, okay, it's good for the big bro he loves you. That's why he was doing that. He loves you. That's why he knew how to turn his punches and shit. Not only to protect his wrist, but he really didn't want to hurt you like that. Boom, boom. And so he would turn, boom, so I could get more of the fat part and more of a thud rather than an actual, like, a thump. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know no better. So me, I'm throwing the 1-2s. I never even got to ask. I got to call my big bro asking, like, anytime I ever punched you, because, you know, we played too much. They play way too much. I mean, because they did all the sports. And I'm the little bro who want to be like them since they played all the sports. He played basketball. I'm playing basketball all the way to the 5th grade. Oh, he played football. I'm playing football all the way like the 6th grade. And then at the 7th grade, I was like, man, I'm broke as hell. I need a job. Hey, man, I ain't going to be able to compete on sports with these big dudes. But what I can do is outwork them on everything. And so what happens when you come home and you the big bro and you like, who fucking bike is this? Nigga, did your dad buy you a bike? Nigga, and he asked your mom, she get off work and she like, she worked for the school district. And they're like, was there a contest or something? You're like, no. Did Moses do exceptional in school? No. Hey, so I'm looking outside, right? And I see a very nice bike on my way up the porch. And I'm wondering who bike this is in the front yard. It don't look big enough for big bro. It don't look big enough for that, bro. So who bike is this in the front yard? How the hell we get this bike in the front yard? Dad get home after 2 shifts. You know, Pops was so ruthless, though. Like, we used to have to be at school in the morning. We lived, like, right across the street from the school. No excuses, but was always late. But my dad wanted us to be on time, so he used to leave early in the morning and slam the door on the way out. Boom. He used to knock the pictures off the wall. Boom. And they'd fall down and hit the ground. He slammed the door so hard because he was a working man. He would leave the house before we got up to go to school. All we would hear is the door slam, and we would be home before he got home. We'd almost be in bed before he got home. That's how hard Pops worked. You know what I'm talking about? And so because of that, somebody had to step up like a big bro. And so when there's a bike in the front yard and you know you didn't get the bike, you know, Big Mama ain't got no money. The other niggas gone. The niggas in the backyard, you like, well, shit, if I got to go back there and put hands on Uncle Frankie and them again, Uncle Frank, Who little kid bike did you take again? Uncle Frank, I took Nick. And you like, Uncle Frank like, nah, man, I told you I don't steal no more, man. I do mechanics. I work on cars. Because Uncle Frank then was like shade tree mechanics. They could always find some hustle. They didn't have to steal. But if you come home and you just getting out of high school yourself and you got out of football practice and now you see this bike in the front yard, at some point you're going to be like, man, something's wrong here. And so don't just be mad. Like I wasn't always the innocent guy there. That bike in that front yard was because I got tired of telling that fucking Crip to leave me alone. And I guess he couldn't ride off fast enough. And when it was time for him to run, hey, he had to do what he had to do. But that bike stayed in my front yard. And when he had the courage to come get his own bike, then he could come and get his own bike. My brother shouldn't have had to try to get mad at me for that shit. And if he want this bike, then he could come get the bike. But if he want this bike, he gonna have to see me about this bike because he don't know what I went through to get this bike right here. Nah, that's my bike, homie. I'm B1 Brother Moses. That shit. At that point, that's my bike, homie. And then the homie had to come get his bike, and then his big brother, like, you can't do that because there's politics. And it was like, you know who this Crip family is? You can't just steal their bike because now his big brothers and their uncles and all of that shit. And that's how shit get funky. But for me, I don't give a fuck about y'all. Deal with y'all issues or whatever happens comes next. But he wasn't finna keep fucking with me like that no more. Not with that bike. Not with that bike. Because that's my bike. Hey, you know my big bro make me apologize for stupid shit like that? Why would I have to apologize? I'm the one out here trying to survive. I'm the runner. I'm the one knuckling up with these people all day. If they wasn't what they was, then I wouldn't have had to be what I was being in the first place. You feel me? And only Big Mama understood. So I was in there crying. And I was like, why are these people such crybabies? I can't even tell you whose video. Oh, I can tell you whose video I was listening to. And here's what started it. Tariq Nasheed dropped the video earlier, and in the beginning of the video, it said the video is brought to you by Brother Amiri Brown YouTube channel. I said, Amiri Brown YouTube channel. Why do I know that name? I was like, oh, okay, he's one of them crybaby ass niggas too. So. And all these crybaby ass niggas, man, at the end of the day, man, what is these niggas crying about? Nigga, ain't nobody whipped you with no security slave belt, nigga. You walked around and enjoyed your full day free than a motherfucker. You walked around and enjoyed your full day with no leash around your neck, no chain, no nothing. If there was anything binding a nigga, it was psychological at best. And when it was pathological, yeah, every once in a while we needed a big brother to step in. Sure, God, I love my big bro. But if that nigga came over that mountain from Las Vegas right now and was like, nigga, don't you ever talk about me. Nigga, I'm calling mama. Speed down. Mom, yep, it happened again. I'm finna fire on this nigga. Hey, you know when we be squaring up? I don't even know if you've ever seen like the little guy, big guy square up in real life. The dynamic is something that you have to see it. Like when you watch it in boxing, that's a fixed space ring. That's not talking about somebody who played football and whose parents, dad was in the NFL versus some little dude who got them quick like scats, like so if you don't really get the dynamic of what running away looks like, it happens quick. Like it'd be like and they can grab, like a big person can grab you while you trying to run, and it will literally lift you off your feet to where your feet are the only thing still running. And they make cartoons about it, but it's right. They would have never been able to make the cartoon or have the story about it unless there was actually some big dude who grabbed some little dude by it. And I've experienced that. That wasn't the part of the trauma. Because I was wrong. I got to say that. Again, if you don't know, I was wrong for taking that little Crip dude bike. It wasn't even something like I really wanted the bike. It wasn't something out of jealousy or animosity. But it was because I was proving a point. And if that little Crip dude wanted his bike back, it should have been up to him. He shouldn't have had to get his big brothers to come say, help me go get my bike back. Because I was the run of the litter. Catch that fade. You know what I'm talking about? Catch them ones. Let's scrap. You know what I'm saying? And the nigga wanted to fight that dude. I don't think I actually wanted to fight my big bro. But the part of me at that time that saw my other big bros get handled was like, why would I fight somebody? Why would I fight them then? So I think it was the part of me that was saving them, because I'd have dog walked them dudes. You know, I ended up having a fight with one, like the brother who's older than me, the middle child, one time. And the only thing he could do, because he's like 6 foot tall, was kick me. He did one of them like Street Fighter moves where he like kicked me from like super far away, and it just like boom, and it sent me flying across the room. Yow, bow, hit the wall, like boom, knocked the picture frames off the wall, crash, like everything like that happened in my whole life. And so like this chair won't do it, but he kicked me, it was like boom. And so I fly all the way back and boom, and I hit the wall and stuff start flying and stuff. Those type of moments, I'm the baby. I'm not supposed to get kicked that damn hard. Especially like you see somebody that's 4 foot fly. Y'all see it on TV like midget wrestling and stuff. Y'all be thinking that's funny. And I was a child, so this is my pain. Hopefully you can laugh at it. So I did actually try the middle child. And I was giving him work, man. Ask my big bros, like family reunion time work, where everybody's gathered around and you don't even know why they doing it, but they letting the boys fight. And they in the backyard and they tussling and the dirt's flying. And at the end of it, all the cousins and all of the cousins' friends and everybody, since y'all done took up the whole block, everybody's here anyway. Everybody was like, oh, y'all see when he did whoop, 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 and he hit him with the whoop, 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 and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? That was life. And the light work was, even though he's taller, he was more like the uncool one. But he was so uncool, he made friends that would be like lifelong friends that are still his friends. And he had that benefit like at an early age. And so that told me that, like, even though I struggled, the middle child had his own set of issues as well. He may have gotten the bronze and the weight and shit, but he didn't have the confidence. And so before we throw the middle child under the bus for being the passive aggressive one or the one who wants to be in the middle of the road, I just wanted to start you off and let you know that there was the firecracker, the mighty mouse, or the mighty might, or whatever you want to call him. And then you had the passive aggressive middle child. Then you got the oldest child who was, he thought he was supposed to have been spoiled, but sorry, it didn't work out, you bitch ass nigga, you. My brother and shit, like, I call that nigga a bitch and be like, nigga, what? Nigga, like, for real. That dude wouldn't make me flinch an inch, nigga, not in my entire life. Y'all would think that the older brothers are the ones who win. No, my older brother wouldn't make me flinch an inch. And if it hadn't been for my cousin / big brother, I'd have ran that household. Y'all don't know that shit, but I do. I'd have ran that household. Big mama would have been making me grits every morning. What y'all talk about? Y'all would see, if Big Mama didn't have to take care of the motherfuckers in the backyard, which is her own kids, but there was my uncle and aunties and shit, and we're talking late 80s. You know the rumor about the 80s. Yeah, a lot of that shit be true. And they lived in a trailer back there, but fuck it, they was cool as shit. Anyway, if she had to take care of them, if she wasn't mammying for them, I'd have had her wrapped around my finger. It wouldn't have just been like a protective thing. It wouldn't have just been like protective. I'm talking about economically secure. Me and Big Mama would have been going on dates. Like, Big Mama used to love to go like I don't know what you call it, across the nation. See, this conversation gets a little bit interesting. Like, if you go to somebody's house and they got all of their stuff for sale on the front yard, what you call that other than a divorce? Y'all bougie. Y'all might have called that a divorce. If you go to somebody's house and they got everything for sale and it's all in the front yard, what do you call that? Like, it's not like a fundraiser, like rummage selling. You go yard selling. Some people call it garage selling. Some people go to the swap meet. But yeah, Big Mama would have took me on dates everywhere. Every Saturday we'd have had somewhere to go. Except Big Mama, when she, not the grocery store. No, Big Mama. You is not finna get me to go to no grocery store with Big Mama because she wants to walk down every aisle. And in my neighborhood, when I say we knew everybody on every street, every house. In other neighborhoods, it'd be like, hey, yo, who is that? Hey, yo, where they from? Where they from? Not in my neighborhood. We didn't have the luxury of where they from. And my neighborhood was a little bit more personal, more direct. What set you with? It wasn't talking to a generalized nobody or asking somebody else what they know about somebody else, because everybody already knew who everybody was. And in fact, if you're the person who's bringing family from not from where we are around, then it was customary to actually introduce them. So therefore, you don't have to answer that question when the wrong person is asking you what set you from. So you may have gotten away with it with Crip homie. Hey, where's he from? But Brother Moses was, nigga, what set you from? Because I know everybody, right? And if I wasn't riding with my big bro, then I was the one that was walking in corners by myself. And I couldn't be in my own backyard. Now, Big Mama, you definitely ain't finna sit up there in that house with Big Mama. So what was your childhood like when they told you that if you don't tear your ass outside, if you don't take your ass out there and go play and go find you some friends? And what kind of friends you have? Because my friends didn't have dads. Well, they had them. I don't know if they ever had them or the dads had them or however you want to look at them, but yeah, them niggas was ghost. Yeah. In fact, they Uncle June, they treat my dad like he was like the dad when we had our Saturdays and shit. But yeah. So when we link up with them, we was getting into some mischief. Now, the police didn't have to bring me home, though. But there were times where whatever happened in the streets didn't stay in the streets. And so if Big Brother had to hear about it, because I'm in the elementary school, now those got to be at least 2 miles away. So if what happens at the elementary school makes it to the high school, that's bad, bro. That's bad. If what you're doing in elementary... And this is why I be laughing at it, like laughing at my own pain. But if you do something at your elementary school and it makes it to the high school to where now high school kids are now coming up to the elementary school, you need to sit your little bad ass down somewhere. Oh, my mama. And if you are the one who, the reason why the people at the high school are coming to the elementary school because and you just won't lead them, and you just, man, and if you're the reason why, then damn it, you shouldn't be the crybaby. You shouldn't get to be the crybaby. Right. Reezy Peasy, you remember how I responded when I first heard that story about Breonna Taylor? It was not just a story. They say the dude grabbed the strap, hit the front door, and they get the shooting back inside the building. And out of all them bullets, he didn't get hit, and he was the one that shot. But they did manage to hit her that many times. I don't like when these bitch ass niggas survive. But the woman that they was supposed to be protecting, she the one that get bodied. It's like that nigga failed. And the only thing that nigga said was, I can't wait to get back in the fucking studio. Man, fuck these niggas, man. These niggas ain't cut from the same cloth. There's something that was different about being able to get them up and go and throw them hands one time, man. And when they said Tommy at the flagpole 3 o'clock, if you couldn't really scrap, then I would have expected the nigga to run. Don't be no punk and don't be no snitch. You out your fucking mind. I told on my big brother all the time. The only person that could break my big brother down and force my big brother to submit was my grandmother, God rest her soul. He was 6'3", and grandmother would make that 6'3" man submit. No other man should have been able to cause a man to submit. And just because I'm not 6'3", don't think that I'm finna walk around in this world like some of these broken ass niggas who are already submitted and free to submit themselves. The bike in the front yard, whether it was mine's and somebody had the audacity to come try to steal my bike, or it was somebody else's. And I was telling them, well, if you want your bike, you come get your bike back. Leave it alone sometimes. Let men fight these battles. Anyway. And I thought that was cool because my aunties don't. How did my grandmother get so tough that she could break a 6'3" person down? You would have to ask my auntie what she'd been through. but out of my own eyes. And they say, well, you're not supposed to see men cry. I've seen men cry all the time because I see men in different situations. Like you see a man that's holding another man's body and the blood is coming out of his body. And the dude is like, man, hold on. The shit they see in movies. This shit happened to this one dude who I call my brother at least 3 times, where he ends up holding the young body while the life is leaving that body. Yeah, I've seen niggas cry quite a few times because they deal with mean people and I dealt with Crips. They'll praise Snoop Dogg for this shit. But who the fuck will hold Snoop Dogg accountable for this shit if he can hide himself or nest himself under the womb of white people? There's no snitching. The murder was the case. Catch the body, nigga. Catch the fade. But they would exalt the nigga that could catch the body. Then, well, fuck it then. Go and catch you a body. I'm not the nigga that would tell you to catch the body. But goddamn you, I didn't want to have to protect myself from a nigga that was 6'3". The nigga that was 6'3" didn't want me to ever have to protect myself from a nigga that was 6'3". But we got work to do, and I'm B1 Brother Moses. That's all I got. The joke's over, tee hee ha ha. But gender war, nigga, gender war, black men under war, nigga, war. Nigga, don't talk about war. Don't talk about war, nigga. You want war? He's finna go to the drive-in and get hella burgers and shit. Stop listening to fat fucking fake Jamaicans, nigga. I'm out.